Welcome to our fourth podcast, a speculative fiction on globalization and local cultures.
So, hi guys, welcome to the fourth episode of our podcast on popular culture, which is a speculative fiction on the topic globalization and local culture. We are from BSN 11. I am Shamel B. Tobias.
I'm Adrian Aquino.
I'm Ralia Belabiano.
And I'm Patricia Dumlao.
So, we are from group 10. I would like to ask, how are you guys feeling today before we start in our topic?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm feeling good as well. So, how about the others?
I'm feeling good.
So, okay, I hope that the listeners are also feeling good today. So I hope you guys learned something from us. So today we're gonna make our own fictional story or a scenario that explores global culture flows on local culture. First, let us define what speculative fiction is so that our listeners or viewers will fully understand our topic for today's video. So according to Celadon Books website, a speculative fiction is often called a super genre that can encompass any narrative from sci-fi and fantasy to superhero stories and fairy tales that diverges from a true to life or a fictional scenario, like I've said earlier. But how about global culture? So, in your opinion, guys, what is global culture? So, any ideas you would like to share?
Global cultures refers to the shared beliefs, values, customs, and practices that have emerged as a result of increasing interconnectedness of people and societies around the world. It is a cultural phenomenon that has been facilitated by advances in technology, transportation, and communication, which have made it possible for people from different parts of the world to interact with each other more easily.
So, any ideas do you have pa?
For me, kagaya nga nasabi ni Pat, global culture refers to the transmissions of ideas, meanings, and values around the world in such a way as to extend and intensify social relations. This process is marked by the common consumption of cultures that have been diffused by the internet, popular culture media, and international travel. This and colonization and commodity exchange activities, which have a longer history of transferring cultural significance across borders. People can participate in extensive social relationships that span national and regional boundaries because of the flow of cultures. Such relations are developed and expanded in more than just a material sense. Cultural globalization entails the establishment of shared norms and knowledge with which people associate their individual and collective cultural identities.
So, how about you, Adrian? Do you have idea?
It is the process whereby individual lives and local communities are affected by economic and cultural forces that operate worldwide. In effect, it is the process of the world becoming a single place. Globalism is the perception of the world as a function of result of the processes of globalization upon local communities.
Okay, so now that we have defined what a global culture is, let me ask you a question again. So, what is local culture for you? This time it's local culture.
I think local cultures refers to the customs, traditions, and the way of life of a particular geographic region or community. It is shaped by the history, geography, and local dynamics of the local area and is often distinct from the cultures of neighboring regions. Local culture can include language, food, music, art, and other forms of expressions that are unique to our particular place.
So how about
For me,
okay.
uh, for me, local culture is everything that we create and share as part of our lives in the place where we live or work. It recognizes the expertise that people have in living their daily lives. Local culture provides a sense of identity for rural communities and residents. This identity facilitates common understandings, traditions, and values, all central to the identification of plans or actions to improve well-being. Culture contributes to building a sense of local identity and solidarity. It influences the confidence rural communities have in coming together to address specific needs and problems. And I think it is important to preserve our culture as a Filipino because it is essential to protecting our sense of who we are. It gives us an irrefutable connection to the past, to certain social values, beliefs, customs, and traditions that allows us to identify ourselves with others and deepen our sense of unity, belonging, and national pride.
So, okay, let's proceed. So, like what you guys have said, our world have become increasingly interconnected with the flow of ideas, customs, and products across cultures that has intensified. So, globalization is the ever-increasing interconnectivity and interdependence of countries around the world in terms of trade, communication, and cultural exchange. So, this phenomenon has been driven by advances in communication, technology, transportation, infrastructure, and trade liberalization policies adopted by many nations. So while globalization has brought about various benefits, such as job creation, technological advancements, and improved living standards for many people across the world, it is important that we notice its negative impacts, such as loss of jobs due to outsourcing and a widening wealth gap between the developed and developing countries. So now that we have defined the terms that are of great importance in our topic for today, let us now dive into the fictional story or scenario that we're gonna make. So let us try to make a scenario by mixing up all our ideas. Then I'm gonna write them up later for our output. So I think dito tayo nakaka-relate because we're all Filipino and alam naman natin na ang Pilipinas ay very culture-enriched country. Marami tayong mga paniniwala and pamahiin na exclusive lang sa ating bansa. So, madami din tayong mga tourist spots na talaga namang dinadayo ng mga taga-ibang bansa na may dala din naman sarili nilang kultura. So, we all know that our country is a third world country and mas maraming bansa ang mas updated sa atin when it comes to techie stuff. So, kapag may mga dayuhan na napupunta sa Pilipinas, parang na-amaze sila sa mga kultura natin, whether it be arts, festivals, fashion, music, and especially sa pagkain natin na sadyang binabalik-balikan ng mga dayuhan. However, we can't deny the fact din na hindi tayo nai-impluwensyahan ng mga kultura ng ibang bansa. Kasi one great example is yung K-pop, which comes from Korea, pati yung foods nila na-adapt na din natin. Kahit dito lang sa Kabanatuan, marami kang makikita ang samgyup na mga kainan. And also sa music nila, yung K-pop na na-adapt na din natin, especially tayong mga teens na bihira tayong makakita ng teen na walang alam na K-pop song. And last but not the least, yung K-drama. Kasi yung mga Pilipino ngayon, mas tinatangkilik pa nila yung drama ng ibang mga bansa kaysa sa teleserye or movies na gawa ng kapwa natin Pilipino. So, enough of that. So, let's now start sa ating fictional story or scenario na nagpapakita ng global culture flow sa local culture. So, meron ba kayong naisip na scenario? All opinions will be taken. So, let's loosen up. Ayan. Niyakap na kasi nga globalization na to. So, may naisip pa kayo? So, ako meron akong naisip kahapon. So, ikwento ko na. Okay. So once upon a time, in the village of Motunoy, nestled in the deep heart of Helvetica, there lived a tribe of Narkia people who had lived in the area for centuries. So they had a rich culture, unique customs, and a strong sense of community. So for generations, yung village na to, kilala sila sa mga music and dance traditions na napapasa by generations, galing sa mga elders, papunta sa mga bata. So, isang araw, merong mga dayuhan na bumisita sa lugar nila, which is yung Motunui nga. So, they were fascinated by the Narkias people's traditional clothing, pati yung mga hairstyle and unique way of life nila. So, yung mga tourists, kasi nga na-amaze sila, pinicturean nila yung mga Narkia people, tapos pinost sa social media, kaya parang nakilala yung lugar nila. So, as the photos went viral, yung mga people na taga ibang bansa, like even Japanese or Koreans and yung mga Europeans, nagka-interest sila sa kultura ng mga Narkia people. So, dahil doon, maraming mga bumisita or dumayo sa lugar nila. Marami silang dalang new ideas, values, and products na nito lang nakita ng mga Narkia people. So, the once isolated village was suddenly connected to the global community and the impact was immediate, mabilisan kapag parang nakita lang nila, gusto nilang i-adapt din. So as the global cultural flows have seeped into the village via technology and travel, younger generations have become more exposed to Western music and dance forms. So na-adapt na nila yung mga technologies, pati yung mga cellphones, solar panels, which allowed them to communicate with people from all over the world. So they also started to wear Western style clothing and eat new types of food. Kasi di ba alam naman natin kapag mga village na ganito, more on lutong bahay pero na-adapt na nila yung mga pagkain na like hamburgers and pizza. So as the influence of global culture continued to grow, the traditional customs of the Narkia people started to disappear kasi nga na-adapt na nila. And yung younger generations, mas less interested nila sa tribe's unique way of life. Nakakalimutan na nila yung kultura nila kasi nga mas na-adapt sila since nito lang nila nakita yung mga bagong bagay. So the village's traditional practices such as the use of cover of the skin started to become less common as people began to embrace new beauty standards. So while the influx of tourists had brought new opportunities and resources to the village, it also caused significant changes in the local culture. So yung ibang Narkia people, yung mga matatanda, worried sila na baka makalimutan na at mapalitan ng mga bagong tradisyon yung kultura nila. So dahil doon, yung mga matatanda, naging worried nga sila kasi napalitan na. Furthermore, the introduction of foreign products and technologies has disrupted local economies that rely on traditional practices such as farming and handicrafts. So, alam naman natin kapag updated ang bansa, kahit yung farming nila sa halip na manpower, nagiging something mechanical or electrical power. So this has caused the older generation to worry about an eroding cultural identity as they fear that the younger generations might forget their heritage. So this phenomenon has been observed in many rural and remote areas around the world where local cultures struggle to compete with dominant globalized cultural practices. So the impact of global culture flows on local culture is complex. That's why it can bring new ideas and opportunities. It can also erode local traditions and values. So, isa lang ito sa example ng global culture flows sa local culture. So, it is important to be reminded sa importance ng pagpapreserve ng ating sariling kultura. So, ako, mai-relate ko siya sa ano ba yun? Sa movie na Moana, alam niyo ba yun? Napanood niyo na siguro. So, kasi 'di ba nung una, merong heart. Yung heart ng mountains nila, yung Tefiti na tinawag nila, in-invade siya ni Maui, yung malaking lalaki na yung heart na yun, yung bato na yun yung nagpapa-enrich and nourish sa mountains nila. However, nung napasa kamay na ni Maui yung heart, gumuho yung main mountain nila. Then, after nun, lumabas yung monster of the sea para protektahan yung Te Fiti or yung heart ng mountain nga. Sa laban na yun, natalo si Maui pero nahulog yung bato sa kailaliman ng dagat. So, dito naman pumasok si Moana, yung bida, na i-reclaim yung heart ng Te Fiti. So, you may be wondering bakit ko siya na-relate sa movie na to. Kasi simply because parang katulad natin dito sa Pilipinas, like I've said earlier, very culture-enriched yung country natin. Yung culture na yun yung nagpo-portray sa heart ng Te Fiti na siyang nagpapaganda and nagbibigay ng uniqueness sa ating bansa. However, may mga dayuhan talaga na pumupunta sa lugar natin and that is Maui, yung mga dayuhan sa movie, okay? So, na ina-adapt yung culture nila, na dinadala nila yung kultura nila dito na na-adapt natin unknowingly na nakakalimutan na natin yung sarili nating kultura. And when that happens, nakuha na nila yung heart ng lugar natin, kagaya nung nagawa ni Maui, napasakamay na niya yung heart. So, dito, pumapasok tayong mga teenagers na nasa sarili lang nating kamay yung paraan para mapigilan natin na mawala yung kultura natin. So, meron pa ba kayong idea? Parang ang tagal kong nagsasalita. Okay, so meron pa.
Ako meron lang akong comment sa story na sinabi mo. So, sinasabi nga sa story how global culture will affect local culture. Of course, yung iba ay inadapt na at inaccept na yung pagbabago para nga din makasabay o umangkop sila sa modern world. Pero yung iba na who have been used to the tradition for a long time is nag-aalala pa rin or nangangamba dahil baka nga makalimutan na yung tradition na kinilala nila. Ang kultura kasi is exposed to global culture that can experience sudden change and reduction to their own culture. Tinatawag itong cultural erosion. The impact of cultural erosion is the loss nga ng traditional food, clothes, music, and social relations. Overall, globalization is causing a loss of diversity in some ways, but importantly, it has also opened our eyes to various cultures, which has increased people's understanding of one another.
So, any more ideas or feedbacks?
For me, nasabi na nga ni Ralia Bell kung paano nakakaapekto yung global culture and local culture. And nabanggit niya din kung yung culture erosion. So, dadagdagan ko lang sinabi niya. Ang culture erosion ay nagde-describe ng process of a civilization, group, or organization losing its core elements, often because of new elements taking their place. This phenomenon occurs in the world of work are introduced, which may either replace or enhance existing ones. Disappearance of traditional ceremonies, decline of traditional crafts, loss of culture knowledge, and assimilation.
So, meron pa ba kayo naisip na ibang scenario or fictional story?
Yung parang kagaya dito sa Pilipinas, eto ha, there is a tradition that women have been following for a long time in the Philippines. The term batok refers to the practice of using bamboo sticks and thorns to tribal designs on your body. It is thought that batok has been practiced for 1,000 years. Filipino women who have reached the appropriate age are typically permitted to get tribal tattoos to accentuate their beauty. But only women restricted to this art of beauty. Men who have earned the right to receive the mark of beauty are permitted to take the part in the mambabatok tradition. Men who choose to decorate their bodies with these ancient marks are viewed as brave and courageous individuals in the society, whereas batok is used to accentuate beauty of the woman. As a result, a Kalinga warrior who has many of these ancient tattoos on him commands great respect and may cause his adversaries to shudder in terror. The people who put these ancient marks on the bodies of men and women are referred to as mambabatoks. The main barrier to this historical practice is the passing the original mambabatoks. As a result, the thousand-year-old practice is in jeopardy of disappearing completely. Kagaya nung the people who visit there share their photos on social media, which is how the Kalinga province gained popularity, similar how to Wang Od, the oldest mambabatok did. Wang Od starts by taking away her tattooing supplies, which include a bamboo stick, an orange thorn needle, a short stick, and a coconut mixing bowl. Therefore, she tattoos her clients. She then collects suot from her fireplace and bakes ink in the coconut mixing bowl by combining it with water. Then to make a pattern on your skin, she dips a blade of grass into the ink. So kagaya nga nito, 'di ba, hindi naman parang sa dati kailangan mo muna maging parang may makalaban gano'n para magkaroon ng tattoo. Pero ngayon sa atin na sa atin na modern world na ngayon, kahit anong oras, anong time, anong oras, anong araw, pwede ka magpa-tattoo. Hindi kagaya nung araw na kailangan mo munang magkaroon ng achievement bago magka-tattoo.
So, yun nga. Pwede din yan, kasi nawala ng parang importance yung tattoo, nawala ng meaning. So, parang yun yung sa culture nila. So, wala na ba kayong ideas? Mag-outro na tayo? Okay, so I think the purpose of this activity is to depict the displacement of traditional cultures, exploitation of laborers and resources, and the widening gap between the rich and the poor. So furthermore, I hope that this podcast about how global culture flows affect local cultures can serve as to raise awareness among the readers or the viewers to promote an active response to issues about this intriguing topic, to be able to encourage discussions about what can be done on a personal or societal level to overcome the negative consequences of globalization. So, while globalization is often viewed as a positive force for economic growth and cultural exchange, it is important to consider the potential negative impacts as well, to provide a means to explore these impacts in a creative and engaging way, offering our viewers insight into the complexities of globalizations that are often overlooked. So I guess that ends our podcast on this episode. Do you guys have anything else to say? So,
I think wala naman kasi lahat naman nasabi na natin siguro.
okay, so I guess this ends our podcast. Tune in for more updates. And this is Group 10 from BSN 11. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.